Dear students, today we start Unit 4 Electromagnetic Induction and Alternating Current. So, first we take the chapter 6 Electromagnetic Induction. And what you have to learn in this electromagnetic induction, you just see over here. First, we define electromagnetic induction, then magnetic flux, then Faraday's experiment, then Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, and finally, I introduce multiple choice questions. Means whatever you learn from this video, you apply the concept and solve the multiple choice questions. So we start with first electromagnetic induction. So first of all, you understand what is the actual meaning of electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction is the phenomena of production of induced EMF and hence induced current due to change in magnetic flux linked with closed circuit is called electromagnetic induction. Now, what is the magnetic flux? So first you understand the meaning of magnetic flux. This is similar as you have studied in unit 1, that is electric flux. So in the same way we have to define magnetic flux. So magnetic flux through any closed surface is the number of magnetic field lines passing normally through the surface. And mathematically, it is also defined as the product of area of the surface and the component of magnetic field normal to the surface. It is represented by phi b. And you see here the one diagram. This is a small area, say dA, plays in magnetic field B, that is number of magnetic field lines passes through this closed area, and normal drawn on this area that represents by n cap. Then there is an angle between normal drawn onto the area and magnetic field. Then its component of magnetic field along to the normal is b cos theta. So what we are saying mathematically, it is defined as the product of magnitude of area of the surface and component of magnetic field normal to the surface. So that is d phi b, small magnetic flux through the small area, d phi b equal to dA cos theta. Then total magnetic flux over to the closed area. So what we do? We integrate it over to the closed area. So that is integral d phi b equal to b cos theta, take outside, and close integral dA. Then close integral dA means total area over to the closed surface, that is A. Then it becomes phi b equal to b cos theta A. Rearrange it, then BA cos theta. Then we can write it into the vector form, phi b equal to b vector dot A vector. Now, how the magnetic flux across a coil can be changed by changing. You see that here there is a formula phi b equal to BA cos theta. So there are three parameters: BA theta, magnetic field, area of the coil, and relative orientation. of the coil with magnetic field. So the magnetic flux across a coil can be changed by changing strength of magnetic field, area of cross section of the coil, then orientation of the coil with magnetic field. So if any of one out of these three changes, then the magnetic flux also changes. Now we take some special cases. The first special case, when the magnetic field touching the surface tangentially. You can see in the diagram. Then the normal drawn onto the surface, which makes an angle 90 degree with magnetic field. So theta equal to 90 degree. Then apply the formula phi b equal to BA cos theta, that is BA cos 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0, so that's why phi b equal to 0. So obviously no magnetic field lines passes through the closed surface. Means the magnetic field touching the surface tangentially. So that's why there is no magnetic flux. Now when the magnet, second case, when the magnet is perpendicular to the surface, in that condition you see the diagram, the magnetic field perpendicular to the surface, then we draw the normal, then magnetic field and normal both are in same direction, so that's why the angle theta equal to 0 degree. Apply the formula phi b equal to BA cos theta, and theta is 0 degree, so that's why phi b equal to BA cos 0 degree. Now cos 0 is 1, so that's why phi b equal to BA, that is the maximum value of magnetic flux. Now some important points about the magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. SI unit of magnetic flux is Weber or Tesla meter square. By the formula, magnetic field is measured in Tesla, area is measured in meter square, so that's why it is Tesla meter square. And CGS unit of magnetic flux is Maxwell, and 1 Maxwell equal to 10 is for minus 8 Weber. Now kindly note it, magnetic flux associated normally per unit area is called magnetic flux density or strength of magnetic field or magnetic field induction. So just you remember all these things. Now the next topic is Faraday experiment 1. So for that purpose, we take a coil C1 which is connected to a galvanometer. No battery, no cell is connected here. The coil C1 is connected to a galvanometer. Now we also take one bar magnet with its north and south pole. Now in this figure, you can see that a coil C1 is connected to the galvanometer G. Here you can see when the north pole of bar magnet is pushed towards the coil, then the pointer in the galvanometer deflects, indicating the presence of electric current in the coil. That is the induced current. The deflection in the galvanometer lasts as long as the bar magnet is in motion. It means if bar magnet and the coil both are stationary, then the galvanometer does not show any deflection. Now, when the magnet with its north pole moved away from the coil, then galvanometer shows deflection in opposite direction. Like initially here, and it shows in opposite direction. which indicates reversal of current's direction. That is, a induced current developed and its direction is as opposite to the direction which earlier developed or induced due to the motion of north pole of magnet towards the coil. Moreover, when the south pole of the bar magnet is moved, means we are reverse the polarity towards or away from the coil, then the deflection in galvanometer are opposite to that observed with north pole for similar movement, that is towards and away. Further, the deflection and hence current is found to be larger when magnet is pushed towards or pulled from the coil faster. Means the induced EMF is developed and hence current developed directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the coil. Instead, when the bar magnet is held fixed, that is stationary, and the coil C1 is moved towards or away from the magnet, the same effect are observed. Then it shows that it is the relative motion between the magnet and the coil that is responsible for the generation or induction or the production of electric current in the coil. So this is the explanation of the Faraday's experiment 1, and that you can also understand by a simulation. Whose link is given here. Now you see experiment of Faraday's laws. This is the first law, as well as we can also see the explanation of second law. So here we consider a coil which is connected to a galvanometer along with a bulb. This is a magnet. Now we approach the magnet with its north pole towards the coil. Then galvanometer shows deflection that indicates that a current is induced in the coil. As we move magnet with its north pole in opposite direction, then the deflection in galvanometer in opposite direction. Again, this indicates that a current is induced in the coil. If coil and magnet both are at stationary, then there is no deflection. It means the induced current in the coil lasts so long as the magnet is in motion. Similarly, if we reverse the polarity of the magnet, that is, now we move magnet with its south pole towards the coil, then further you can see that there is a deflection in galvanometer, so that indicates a current is induced in the coil. But in the opposite direction, deflection takes place in galvanometer as when we move magnet with its north pole towards the coil. Similarly, when we move away from the coil with its south pole, then again deflection takes place in the galvanometer and the bulb gets glow up. That indicates that a current is induced in the coil. Now, if we move the magnet faster with its north pole towards the coil, then you see that a large deflection takes place in the galvanometer and the bulb glow up. Similarly, when we move the magnet with its north pole away from the coil with the speed, then you see there is a large deflection in galvanometer and the bulb glow up. That indicates that the EMF that induced in the coil is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux. Because as we are moving the magnet with its north pole towards the coil or the south pole towards the coil, then what happens? Then magnetic field lines, they crosses the coil or passes through the coil, as a result of which there is a change in magnetic flux takes place. So as we move north pole of the magnet towards the coil, then the magnetic flux linked with the coil increases. Whereas when the magnet with its north pole move away from the coil, then magnetic flux linked with the coil decreases. And this indicates that, or from this explanation, we conclude that there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet, which is responsible for the induction of induced current in the coil. If magnet is stationary and the coil moves towards the magnet, then similar result we get it. So that's why we say that it is the relative motion between the magnet and coil that is responsible for the production of induced current. You can also see here magnetic field lines. As you see that when the magnet with its north pole move towards the coil, then magnetic field lines passes through the coil get increases. So change in magnetic flux increases. As we move with its north pole away from the coil, then magnetic field lines crossing the coil decreases. So decrease in magnetic flux takes place. If magnet is stationary, coil is moving, then similar kind of result we get. That's why we say that it is the relative motion between the magnet and coil which is responsible for the induction of induced current in the coil. Now, Faraday experiment you understand with some animation. As the north pole of magnet, when it moves towards the coil, and here it is moving away from the coil, then you see that in galvanometer's deflection, here on one side and then it is here in opposite side. Similarly, when we reverse the polarity of the magnet, here it is north south and here it is south north. Then similarly, the deflection takes place in galvanometer due to the motion of magnet. So whatever we have explained earlier, and that you can see also here. See here. In first case, when the north pole of the magnet moving towards the coil, and in second case, south pole of the magnet moving towards the coil. Or you can say that in respect of this coil, in first case, the south pole moving away from the coil. And here in this respect, north pole is moving away from the coil. So in both the cases, you see that there is a deflection in galvanometer and a current is induced in both the coils. So this is about an animation of Faraday's experiment 1. Similarly, it is another animation. This is a coil which is connected with a galvanometer. This is bar magnet with its north and south pole, and magnetic field lines are drawn over here. Then these magnetic field lines, they crosses the area of the coil as it moves towards the coil. You can see here. So as a result of which an EMF is induced, then a current is also developed, which is measured and observed by the deflection in galvanometer. So the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes relative to the position of the coil and the magnet due to the magnetic lines of force cutting at different angles at the same cross-sectional area of the coil. So that's why an EMF and hence a current is induced in the coil. Now the Faraday's experiment number 2. Here we replace bar magnet by the second coil, that is C2, which is connected to a battery. Then a steady current starts flowing in the coil C2. As coil C2 is moved towards the coil C1, then galvanometer shows a deflection. This indicates that electric current is induced in the coil C1. Similarly, when the coil C2 is moved away from the coil C1, then galvanometer shows a deflection again, but in opposite direction. And the deflection lasts as long as the coil C2 is in motion. When the coil C2 is held stationary or fixed and C2 is moved, then same type of the result we observed. Again, it is the relative motion between the coils that induces the electric current. So this is about Faraday's experiment number 2. Now in the animation part, you can see that here at present I am taking two coils, naming P and S, that we say that primary and secondary. Primary coil is connected to a battery along with key. Secondary coil connected with galvanometer. So when the key is open at that time, there is no current is flowing through the coil P. So there is no induction in secondary coil. So no induced current in the secondary coil. But as we close the key, then what happens? A current starts flowing in the primary coil, due to which there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the primary coil and which induces onto the secondary coil, as a result of which a current is induced in the secondary coil that we can observe by the deflection in galvanometer. Now you can see here what conclusion we get it. When the primary coil is closed, current goes from 0 to maximum value. During this period, changing current induces changing magnetic flux across the primary coil. This changing magnetic flux is linked across the secondary coil and induces EMF in the secondary coil. And induced EMF and hence current gives the deflection in galvanometer lasts only as long as the current in the primary coil and hence magnetic flux in the secondary coil changes. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So whatever we learn from the Faraday's experiment, from that we formulated two laws which is given by Faraday. So first law, when the magnetic flux linked with a conductor or coil changes, an EMF is induced in it, and the induced EMF lasts so long as the change in magnetic flux linked with the coil continue. That is explained in the Faraday's first law. And the second law, according to this law, the magnitude of EMF induced in a conductor or coil is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linked with it. That is also explained in the Faraday's experiment. And then we say that let d phi be the small change in magnetic flux in a small time dt. Then induced EMF E directly proportional to minus d phi b upon dt. For omitting this proportionality sign, we require a constant, and that constant is k. And k is called constant of proportionality, and its value is 1 in all units. Therefore, it can be rewritten as E equal to minus d phi b upon dt. Now, if we say that n be the number of turns of the coil, then the expression becomes E equal to minus n d phi b upon dt, where n is the number of turns of the coil. Now, what is the significance of the negative sign? The negative sign indicates that the induced EMF opposes change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, which is very important. Means the EMF which induces in the coil that opposes the change in magnetic flux. That's why we are using here a negative sign. So negative sign significance is that the induced EMF opposes the change in magnetic flux linked with coil. Now whatever you learn, that we recapitulate in terms of the MCQs. So the first MCQ, due to relative motion of a magnet with respect to a coil, an EMF is induced in the coil. Identify the principle involved. Your options are A. Ampere circuital law, B. Faraday's law, C. Gauss's law, D. Biot-Savart's law. So whatever you learn, you apply your concept, then check your answer. Answer is B. That is Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Similarly, the second question, in Faraday's experiment on electromagnetic induction, more deflection will be shown by galvanometer when your options are A. Magnet is in uniform motion towards the coil, B. Magnet is in uniform motion away from the coil, C. Magnet is in accelerated motion towards the coil, D. Magnet is at rest near the coil. Apply the concept, then check your answer. Answer should be C. Magnet is in accelerated motion towards the coil. As explained during the Faraday's experiment, when the magnet with its north pole moves faster towards the coil, large deflection takes place. Now the third question, phenomena of electromagnetic induction is the converse of. Your options are A. Heating effect of current, B. Magnetic effect of current, C. Photoelectric effect of current, D. None of the above. So obviously option B, magnetic effect of current. Now the fourth question, SI unit of magnetic flux is Oersted, option A, option B Weber, option C Gauss, option D Tesla. So what you learn? Apply it, find the answer, then check it. Answer B is correct. Whatever. Now next one is question number 5. A bar magnet is moved with its south pole towards one end of the closed loop. The induced current in the coil, when seen from one side of the moving magnet, flows in. Your options are clockwise direction, A option, B option, anti-clockwise direction, C option, normal to the area of the cross section, and then it is D option, none of the above. So what happens as the south pole of the magnet moves towards the coil, then its motion is opposed due to the change in magnetic flux, and hence a current is induced. Then the motion is opposed only if onto the coil which is facing towards the south pole of the magnet has the clockwise direction. If clockwise direction, then that face has the south polarity. And south pole they repel. That is opposes the motion of magnet, as a result of which opposes the change in magnetic flux. So that's why its answer should be A, that is clockwise direction. So apply the concept, understand it, then check your answers. If you like my video, like it, subscribe, press the bell icon. Thank you. Have a nice day.